Hi, hi, hi. Woo. I actually got a bit excited. Oh, should have taken a puff. Never mind. I'll do one in the next video. All right. So just to let you know, I'm doing these videos today to avoid playing the guitar, apparently. It's perfectly fine. I did a bit. I did some music theory. I am gonna grab the guitar. I already have two tabs open. One for a song by Enrique Iglesias. Super simple. But it's in Spanish, so at the very least, I'll trigger my Spanish. And I wanted to try something that has been making me feel a bit self-conscious, playing with the chords, but kind of like actually picking the certain like notes out of them. And I'm just gonna do three notes in every chord. It's only four chords. And I also want to try something out with a song. This guy that actually teaches like guitar, super good guy. So I am gonna play at the very least a bit. I'm gonna at the very least play the whole like Spanish song. It's called El Perdón by Nicky Jam and Enrique Iglesias. Super corny song, by the way. And the other one is Good Times because it has like a very mellow chord progression from A to E, E to A, A to E, A to E to A. So I get to actually like trace the fretboard by saying trace the fretboard. I get to kind of like experiment in certain places, right? Like I'm just like find these notes and try to play them. So yay, but I am actually shooting more videos to push doing this till a bit later. I don't know if it's me exhausting myself or just me kind of like not thinking about it because soon I will not have any brain power to think. Now, today's video is if you don't know discipline, you settle for self-sacrifice. This pretty powerful. I do not know if I actually thought about it myself or if I wrote it, but hear me out because the minute I read it, it what came to me was the difference between a successful, well balanced person and a person that's not well balanced. Wow, so clear. I said it so beautifully. Now all of you understand. All right, let's look at it differently. Uh, I believe being successful means being in control of your own time. Being in control of your own time means you get to decide what you want to do, like actually decide, right? Like I can't decide right now what I want to do, although the whole day is for me to decide what I have to do. Because the entirety of my mind is basically, am I contributing to what I want or not? Right? It's literally engulfing everything. So any decision I make is kind of like preemptively in my head. So you have to think about it as me not actually being, I don't know, it's like I'm not successful the way success is basically with everyone. And it's not just about money, it's literally like to have the means to do whatever you want with your time. And if I want to be buying yachts and selling yachts, then I have to have like time that makes me millions of dollars and time that actually I go spend on yachts. But if I just want to go chill with my family and come and take them twice a week to somewhere in the lake and all that shit, then maybe I don't need more than like $4,000 on a monthly basis, which is ideally successful. And if I can use that money to actually spend on my family with my time and shit like this, then hey, that's the lifestyle I chose. But here, there's kind of like, because we all of us kind of want success, but success normally is kind of reflected on status, on position, and every position comes with its successes. Like I have a friend of mine that's, let's just say he makes about $2,000, $3,000 a month. Super satisfied. He has enough time to go out with his family. He goes all across. He does all kinds of things. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, their priority and work has its time, and there's time for himself and all that beauty. But I have another friend that basically barely spends his money, which is about as well the same, two and a half, and three. But Kana is always miserable about not being able to do anything and always sitting at home thinking of either about work or about money, even though they save a decent amount on a monthly basis. But they're kind of like, that even if you gave him $10,000 man a month, he probably would have thought the same way, would you translate things the same way. So a big part of the successful friend is he's actualized according to Maslow. He has realized what he wants out of life, and because of that, everything else is basically a tool to support it. And if you look at how he structures his life, there's a certain discipline and how he makes money that's applied as well on his work, that is applied as well on how he runs the household, that is applied as well on his family, on his relationships, on everything. Whilst the other person kind of like just chases them until they happen, but he's always too exhausted to kind of like engage with them and imagine, I don't know, imagine something fun to come out of them. Because visually he's like wearing the suit and happy and all the other stuff, but the other guy just like he's actually enjoying all that stuff. Both of them wear suits, by the way. They kind of do the same job. It's just the other guy is just really intentional about having fun on his time and like doing his time. So his job doesn't exhaust him. Whilst the second guy, it does. So from there, if you don't know discipline, which means if you don't structure yourself to be good enough to handle the lifestyle you want, because that's practically why you do it, right? Like, what's the, I don't know. If you think of people that have all the money but they don't have time to spend them, they're not really disciplined, are they? Maybe they're organized, maybe they're driven, but disciplined, as in like to discipline is for me is to establish the most a way, a route to the most efficient way to get something done, and that is where discipline becomes a thing. Like, I could sit every day and do something in a disciplined fashion and not get any results. I think discipline is the process from being random about doing it to being structured. So from randomness, because at first you're doing it randomly or with whatever structure that you have in your head, but it doesn't really like work efficiently and effectively for whatever you're trying to do. And then the process of discipline or disciplining the process is what allows you to eventually be able to subconsciously do it, right? Like, your consistency is your own growth. So if you don't know discipline and you're not trying to familiarize yourself with discipline and the process and all the stuff that kind of like bring about that feeling of discipline, then you're probably going to settle for self-sacrifice because the consistency on its own will probably still like get you to where you want to go. And fascinatingly so, a lot of people tend to kind of like succeed without them actually feeling that success properly, without them properly engaging with that success, enjoying it, completely just being enamored by it. I think that's a beautiful way to actually look at how are you truly sacrificing yourself for what you're chasing, or are you molding yourself in order for it to kind of exist better with you? And it's just an Instagram reel that I actually like that I just popped in my head right now. It's a young cat that is talking to an older cat, and the young cat is saying, "I've realized that happiness is in my tail. So anytime I grab my tail, I feel happy." And the old cat goes like, "I realized the same thing, but I realized anywhere I go, basically my tail follows me instead of me chasing it around. It will follow me, and I'm always going to basically be happy because happiness is following me." Now it's funny because how we structure ourselves for success is more important than the structure of success. Because the structure of success is trial and error, but we have a straight goal of how success might look like. But we never actually have a good image or a strong image of how we want to look like when success is happening, of what kind of person do I want to have become for that success to exist. Fuck, man. Super intense. See, I think about this stuff, but I never actually discuss it out loud. Normally, these things kind of happen in my head. That's why I take the notes. And so I could only imagine the, the conversation that was having with myself for me to write down that note and actually like engage with it. Super fun stuff. But I imagine when you're disciplining is basically the same as forging a samurai sword, right? Like you have to temper it over and over again, even though you can use it. You know you can use it, but is it of the quality that you want? So you temper it again. And the story of a samurai sword is amazing because like it takes 3 days of like brute fire for them to collect the best of the ore that comes out of the sand. And then after that, like 4 days of consistent, like they don't let the steel cool. They keep at it. They keep hammering it until it's super moldy because of how hot it is and how many times it's been tampered. And they do it until it's finally like layers on top of layers of itself. And then eventually, basically, they sharpen it and they take care of all that stuff. But like they have the consistency, but it's just literally the process that's been disciplined. It's the molding of the actual self that allows you to experience successfully, or else the sacrifice of the self would actually bring success to you. So I think with if you know discipline, you experience success. But if you self-sacrifice, you call for success or send success your way. It's a video.